Hi everyone. Welcome to English Story School. How did a young woman with no experience, no connections, and just $5,000 in savings turn a pair of scissors and a frustrating morning into a billion-dollar empire that changed the world forever? Stick around because the answer will not only surprise you, it might just change the way you see your own potential. Chapter 1: A question that changes everything. Have you ever had an idea so wild, so out of the box that you thought, this could actually change my life? What if that idea wasn't just about changing your life, but disrupting an entire industry? Today, we dive into the extraordinary journey of Sarah Blakely, the self-made billionaire who redefined the fashion industry with Spanx. But this isn't just about shaping wear. This is about shaping dreams, breaking barriers, and proving that disruption is the most powerful tool for success. And it all starts with a simple pair of pantyhose and a pair of scissors. Chapter 2: The Beginning, a dream born from frustration. Picture this. Sarah Blakely, a young woman in her late 20s, is navigating the harsh realities of life, hustling from one door to another, selling fax machines in a world that hardly gave her a second glance. Every knock on a door was met with rejection. Some slammed shut, some politely declined, and others didn't bother to open at all. This wasn't just a job. It was a battlefield of self-doubt. Day after day, she found herself drained, not just physically but emotionally. Imagine facing that level of rejection and waking up the next morning with the resolve to try again. That's resilience, but even resilience has its limits. On one particular morning, as Sarah stands in front of her closet, readying herself for yet another challenging day, she faces a problem that millions of women silently endure. Her pantyhose, those thin, suffocating pieces of fabric, roll down her waist, dig into her skin, and refuse to stay in place. To make matters worse, they don't work with her open-toed heels, leaving her looking and feeling frustrated. It's a mundane issue, almost trivial, but one that millions experience daily. For most, it's an inconvenience they tolerate. But for Sarah, it was something more, a spark. "Why does this have to be so uncomfortable?" she muttered, exasperated. And then, as she looked at herself in the mirror, a thought began to take shape. What if this could be better? What if I could change this? That thought didn't just linger. It took root. It became an obsession. Sarah wasn't a fashion designer. She wasn't an inventor. She had no connections, no experience in textiles, and no roadmap for what lay ahead. But what she did have was a fiery determination and an unusual ability to see possibilities where others saw none. One evening, after yet another grueling day of work, she sat cross-legged on the floor of her apartment, staring at her pantyhose. And then, driven by frustration, she did something no one had dared to think of before. She grabbed a pair of scissors and cut off the feed of her pantyhose. It was a wild, impulsive move, one that felt oddly liberating. As she slid the altered garment onto her legs, something clicked. It fit better. It felt better. And most importantly, it worked. That single act of cutting her pantyhose wasn't just a spur-of-the-moment decision. It was the birth of a revolution. Sarah didn't know it yet, but in that tiny, dimly lit apartment, she had just disrupted an industry worth billions. What was born out of a moment of frustration would soon become one of the most celebrated innovations in women's fashion. But here's the thing. This wasn't a light bulb moment of genius, as we're often led to believe about successful entrepreneurs. It wasn't glamorous. It wasn't planned. It wasn't even supposed to happen. It was raw, messy, and above all, real. This is where the power of disruption truly lies, in daring to ask the questions no one else is asking, and taking action when everyone else is content with the status quo. Sarah knew she had stumbled upon something big, but doubt quickly crept in. Who was she to think she could change the hosiery industry? She wasn't a business tycoon. She wasn't even remotely qualified. And yet, every time she wore her makeshift creation, she felt a surge of confidence. The kind of confidence that comes when you know you've solved a problem, not just for yourself, but for millions of others who didn't even realize they needed a solution. But let's not romanticize this moment. This wasn't the part where the world suddenly opened its arms to Sarah Blakely. If anything, this was just the beginning of an uphill battle. She had the seed of an idea, but turning it into something real? That was a different story altogether. Yet in that small apartment, as Sarah sat staring at her hacked-up pantyhose, she allowed herself one small, bold thought. What if this could change everything? In that moment, Sarah wasn't just imagining a new product. She was imagining a new life. One where rejection didn't define her, where her voice mattered, and where she could create something meaningful, not just for herself, but for countless others. That's the power of frustration when met with a fearless mindset. It doesn't just stay bottled up. It transforms into fuel, sparking ideas, inspiring action, and ultimately changing the course of history. This wasn't just the beginning of Spanx. This was the beginning of Sarah Blakely stepping into her power. Her story was about to unfold in ways even she couldn't imagine. She had no idea that her scissors and pantyhose experiment would pave the way for a billion-dollar empire. But in that moment, she didn't need to know. All she needed was to believe in the possibility. That's the beauty of disruption. It doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't wait for the perfect timing. It doesn't require you to have all the answers. It just needs you to take the first step. Sarah took hers with a pair of scissors and a dream. What's stopping you from taking yours? Chapter 3. The Struggle, Betting on Herself. Having an idea is one thing, but bringing it to life? That's an entirely different challenge. Sarah Blakely wasn't some seasoned entrepreneur with a business degree or deep industry connections. She wasn't sitting on millions of dollars in venture capital. All she had was a prototype born from frustration, $5,000 in savings, and a belief so unshakable it could move mountains, or so she hoped. The first hurdle she faced was learning about an industry she knew nothing about. Hosiery. Think about it. Where would you even begin if you wanted to redesign an entire product category? For Sarah, it started with curiosity and a relentless work ethic. She spent endless nights combing through patent databases, reading manufacturing guides, and trying to understand the nuances of an industry that wasn't exactly known for innovation. Most people would have been overwhelmed by the sheer scale of what needed to be done. But Sarah saw each new challenge as a step closer to her dream. With her prototype in hand, she began the grueling process of finding a manufacturer. She made dozens, no, hundreds of cold calls. The response was almost always the same: polite rejection or outright dismissal. Some didn't bother to call back. Others told her flat out that her idea wasn't viable. It wasn't just discouraging, it was soul-crushing. Imagine pouring your heart and soul into an idea, only to have doors slammed in your face over and over again. But here's where Sarah's story takes a bold turn. Most people would have given up after a week, maybe a month of rejection. But Sarah? She didn't know how to quit. Her belief in her idea wasn't just strong, it was borderline obsessive. Every no she heard fueled her determination to find that one yes. And after months of relentless effort, she found it. A small manufacturer in North Carolina agreed to meet with her and hear her pitch. But even this wasn't smooth sailing. During the meeting, she was met with skepticism. After all, why would a hosiery manufacturer take a chance on an inexperienced young woman with no track record in business? But Sarah had something that trumped experience: passion. She didn't just talk about her product. She lived it. She wore her prototype, demonstrated how it worked, and passionately explained why it was better than anything currently on the market. Her energy was infectious, and eventually the manufacturer agreed to give her idea a shot. Now, you might think this was her breakthrough moment, the part where everything magically falls into place. But no, this was just the beginning of the next phase of struggles. With the manufacturing deal secured, Sarah knew she had to get her product into stores. And not just any stores. She set her sights on Neiman Marcus, one of the most prestigious retailers in the country. But how do you get the attention of a company that receives countless pitches every day? Sarah did what she did best. She got creative. Instead of relying on fancy presentations or lengthy emails, she asked for 5 minutes with a buyer at Neiman Marcus. 5 minutes. That's all she needed. When the buyer reluctantly agreed to meet, Sarah didn't just talk about Spanx. She took the buyer into the restroom, slipped into her product, and showed the dramatic difference it made. That bold move sealed the deal. Neiman Marcus agreed to stock Spanx in its stores, and for the first time, Sarah felt like her dream was within reach. But even after this small victory, the challenges kept coming. As Spanx hit the shelves, Sarah realized she couldn't rely on traditional marketing tactics. She didn't have the budget for glossy ads or celebrity endorsements. Instead, she became her brand's biggest advocate, personally going to stores, meeting shoppers, and explaining why Spanx was different. She poured her energy into creating a personal connection with her customers, something that big brands often overlooked. Behind the scenes, though, the pressure was immense. Sarah was doing everything: managing production, handling logistics, pitching to retailers, and building her brand's identity. There were sleepless nights, moments of doubt, and days when it felt like the world was working against her. But through it all, she never wavered in her belief that Spanx could be something extraordinary. The emotional toll of these years can't be overstated. Imagine being laughed at, ignored, and dismissed at every turn, only to keep pushing forward because you believe in something bigger than yourself. That's the power of resilience, the ability to keep moving even when the odds are stacked against you. Sarah's journey during this time wasn't glamorous. It was messy, exhausting, and filled with uncertainty. But it was also transformative. Every obstacle she overcame made her stronger, more determined, and more convinced that she was on the right path. And with every small victory, she inched closer to turning her dream into a reality. What sets Sarah apart isn't just her creativity or her work ethic. It's her ability to bet on herself when no one else would. She didn't wait for someone to give her permission or validation. She created her own opportunities, took risks, and trusted that her hard work would pay off. And that's a lesson for all of us. The road to success is rarely straightforward, but if you're willing to take the leap and bet on yourself, the possibilities are endless. Sarah Blakely's story reminds us that success isn't about having all the answers or getting it right the first time. It's about showing up day after day with the courage to keep going. It's about taking risks, embracing uncertainty, and refusing to let rejection define you. And most importantly, it's about believing in yourself so fiercely that the world has no choice but to believe in you too. Her leap of faith didn't just change her life, it redefined an industry. And if Sarah could do it, why not you? Chapter 4. The Breakthrough. Turning doubt into billion-dollar dreams. Spanx finally hit the shelves, but as anyone who's ever launched a product knows, getting on the shelf is just the beginning. The real battle starts when you have to convince people to pick it up, try it, and believe in it as much as you do. For Sarah Blakely, this was an uphill climb like no other. She didn't have the luxury of a big marketing budget, a flashy PR campaign, or a team of experts crafting strategies in a high-rise office. What she had was grit, hustle, and an unwavering belief in her product. Sarah knew that Spanx wasn't just another pair of shapewear. It was a solution to a problem millions of women faced. But how do you sell a solution when people don't even know the problem can be fixed? That's where Sarah's hands-on approach became her superpower. Instead of sitting back and waiting for sales to roll in, she hit the ground running. She personally visited stores, walked the aisles, and approached shoppers with a genuine smile and a clear pitch. "Let me show you something that will change how you feel in your clothes," she would say, holding up Spanx as if it were a magic wand. It wasn't easy. In fact, it was exhausting. Imagine standing in a store, talking to strangers who often brushed you off, explaining your product over and over again, and trying to stay positive through it all. But Sarah wasn't just selling a product. She was selling an idea, a feeling, a promise that Spanx would give women the confidence they deserved. And slowly but surely, the word started to spread. But the real breakthrough came in a way that no one could have predicted. It was 2000, and Sarah had sent a sample of Spanx to Oprah Winfrey's team, hoping against hope that it would get noticed. Oprah, known for her impeccable taste and ability to catapult products into stardom, received countless products every day. The odds of her noticing Spanx were slim. But then the unimaginable happened. Oprah tried Spanx, loved it, and added it to her coveted list of favorite things. Overnight, everything changed. Sales skyrocketed. Women flocked to stores, eager to try the product Oprah had raved about. The momentum was unstoppable, and Sarah suddenly found herself at the helm of a rapidly growing brand. It was a dream come true, but it was also a turning point that brought its own set of challenges. Success, as glamorous as it looks from the outside, can be overwhelming. Orders were pouring in faster than Sarah could have imagined, and the pressure to deliver was immense. Most people in her position would have been tempted to sit back, enjoy the profits, and let the business run itself. But not Sarah. For her, Spanx wasn't just a product, it was a mission. She knew that with every pair of Spanx sold, she was helping women feel more confident, more powerful, and more comfortable in their own skin. Instead of cashing in and walking away, Sarah doubled down. She reinvested the profits into the business, expanding her product line, improving her designs, and ensuring that Spanx maintained the quality that had made it a hit in the first place. She listened to her customers, took their feedback seriously, and constantly worked to make Spanx even better. This wasn't about making money. It was about building something that mattered, something that could stand the test of time. Sarah's approach to growth was bold and unconventional. She didn't hire a massive team or spend millions on advertising. Instead, she focused on authenticity and staying connected to her customers. She used social media to share her journey, telling her story in a way that resonated with women everywhere. Her transparency and relatability became part of the brand's identity, making Spanx not just a product, but a movement. Even as Spanx grew into a billion-dollar empire, Sarah stayed grounded. She never forgot the early days of rejection, the nights spent cold-calling manufacturers, and the countless times she had to bet on herself when no one else would. That humility and resilience became the foundation of her success, proving that disruption isn't just about innovation. It's about perseverance, authenticity, and a willingness to challenge the status quo. But let's not sugarcoat it. The journey was anything but smooth. Sarah faced countless moments of doubt and uncertainty. There were times when she wondered if she was in over her head, if the business would crumble under the weight of its own success. But every setback became an opportunity to learn, to adapt, and to grow. Where others saw failure, Sarah saw a chance to do things differently. She wasn't just building a brand. She was rewriting the rules of entrepreneurship. Sarah's story isn't just about Spanx or shapewear. It's about the power of disruption and the courage to bet on yourself even when the odds are stacked against you. It's about turning doubt into fuel, setbacks into comebacks, and ideas into billion-dollar dreams. Most importantly, it's about proving that success isn't reserved for the privileged or the experienced. It's for anyone bold enough to believe that they can change the world, one small step at a time. Sarah Blakely didn't just create a product. She created a legacy. And in doing so, she showed the world that disruption isn't about tearing things down. It's about building something better, something bolder, and something that truly makes a difference. Her journey is proof that with a little creativity, a lot of resilience, and an unwavering belief in your vision, you can turn even the wildest dreams into reality. Chapter 5: The Legacy, Inspiring the Next Generation. Today, Sarah Blakely stands as a beacon of inspiration for dreamers, doers, and disruptors around the globe. She's worth over $1 billion, but her wealth transcends financial figures. Her true riches lie in the lives she's transformed, the barriers she's broken, and the legacy she continues to build. From her humble beginnings as a door-to-door fax machine salesperson to becoming the first self-made female billionaire to sign the Giving Pledge, Sarah's journey is nothing short of extraordinary, a testament to the power of resilience, innovation, and the courage to think differently. But let's take a closer look at what her legacy truly means. It's not just about Spanx or the billions of dollars her empire has generated. It's about the ripple effect her story has created. Sarah's journey has redefined what success looks like, especially for women. She's shown that you don't need a degree from a prestigious university, a Rolodex full of high-profile connections, or even prior experience in your chosen field to make an impact. What you need is a vision, the grit to see it through, and the audacity to bet on yourself when no one else will. Sarah's legacy begins with Spanx, but it doesn't end there. The brand itself has become synonymous with empowerment. It's not just a product. It's a symbol of what's possible when you refuse to settle for less. Women who wear Spanx aren't just buying shapewear. They're buying confidence, comfort, and the belief that they deserve to feel good in their own skin. That impact is immeasurable. Yet, Sarah didn't stop at building a business. She's actively shaping the future for others. In 2013, she became the first female billionaire to sign the Giving Pledge, a commitment by the world's wealthiest individuals to give away the majority of their wealth to philanthropic causes. Sarah's decision to join the pledge wasn't just a gesture of generosity. It was a declaration of her values. She's made it clear that true success isn't measured by what you accumulate, but by what you give back. Through her philanthropy, Sarah is empowering women, funding education initiatives, and supporting entrepreneurship in underserved communities. She's not just opening doors. She's building entire pathways for others to follow. But Sarah's impact isn't confined to her charitable work. She's also a storyteller, a mentor, and an advocate for bold thinking. Through interviews, public speaking, and social media, she shared her journey in raw, unfiltered detail, the struggles, the setbacks, the sleepless nights, and the moments of doubt. Her transparency is a breath of fresh air in a world that often glamorizes success while glossing over the hard work it takes to get there. Sarah's openness has inspired countless individuals to take their own leaps of faith, reminding them that every great success story starts with a single step. One of the most powerful aspects of Sarah's legacy is the message she's sending to the next generation, particularly to young girls and women. She's dismantling the notion that success in business is a man's world. She's proving that women can lead, innovate, and disrupt on a global scale. And she's doing it with authenticity, humor, and grace. By sharing her story, Sarah is planting seeds of confidence in young minds, encouraging them to dream big, fail boldly, and keep going no matter what. What sets Sarah apart isn't just her achievements, it's her mindset. She didn't let her lack of experience or resources hold her back. Instead, she leaned into her curiosity, embraced her creativity, and turned every no into an opportunity to pivot and improve. Her story is a masterclass in the art of disruption, but more importantly, it's a lesson in the power of believing in yourself. Sarah often speaks about how fear was her greatest motivator. She didn't fear failure. In fact, she embraced it as a necessary step on the path to success. What she feared most was regret. The regret of not trying, not taking that leap, not seeing where her wild idea could take her. That fear of regret drove her to cut the feet off her pantyhose, to knock on countless doors, and to put herself out there in ways that most people would shy away from. It's a lesson that resonates deeply. The cost of regret is far greater than the cost of failure. Today, Sarah's life is a celebration of everything she's worked for, but she remains as grounded as ever. Despite her massive success, she's never lost touch with her roots. She still laughs about her early struggles. She still remembers the rejections, and she still credits her resilience for everything she's achieved. Her humility and relatability make her story all the more powerful. It's a reminder that even the most extraordinary journeys begin with ordinary people. Sarah's legacy is living proof that disruption isn't just about breaking things. It's about building something better. It's about challenging the status quo, questioning the norms, and refusing to accept that this is just the way things are. It's about taking risks, embracing uncertainty, and daring to dream bigger than anyone thinks is reasonable. For Sarah, the power of disruption lies in its ability to create ripples that extend far beyond the original idea. Spanx may have started as a solution to an annoying problem, but it became so much more: a movement, a message, and a legacy that will inspire generations to come. So, what can we take from Sarah's story? It's simple yet profound. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for the perfect timing, the right connections, or a foolproof plan. Just start. Take the first step, even if it's small, even if it's messy, even if you're not sure where it will lead. Because as Sarah Blakely has shown us, the only thing standing between you and your billion-dollar dream is the courage to take that leap. Sarah didn't just create Spanx. She created a new way of thinking, a new way of dreaming, and a new way of believing in what's possible. And that, more than anything else, is her greatest legacy. So, here's my question for you. What's your Spanx moment? What's the one idea, one dream, one frustration that you can turn into a revolution? Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for the perfect timing. Disrupt, innovate, inspire. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time,